Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas.
I need to write a song. Everything is problematic.
This is Emsolation.
Because I have to find a way to dump the bodies.
I mean, do you think there's a universe where you could be rewarded with $100,000 for not having sex? I would have been making bank.
If you're listening now and you're in Melbourne and you're not wearing a mask, well, you can't be friends with Michael and I. I'm sorry, you're out.
You're in Emsolation.
What an episode. Wow. Hello, welcome to Emsolation. Do I sound relaxed? It's because I'm coming to you live from my bed. I put a picture up on Instagram. I'm in my soft office. Someone wrote that underneath. I love that. This is the first time I have actually come to you live from the bed because I knew it was a slippery slope. Once I gave myself permission to do that, I may never, ever not make this podcast anywhere else. And I need to be up and about, you know. So once I finish speaking to you now, I'm going to go have a shower. I'm going to do my winged eyeliner. I'm going to put on some tinted moisturiser. I'm going to wear deodorant. I'm going to do all the things that, you know, make me feel human. And we've got a hard rubbish collection coming. I mean, is there anything more exciting? So today is like everyone knows I've gone like, right, we're cleaning. Odie's just so glad to be homeschooling today because do you remember when you were a kid and you'd wake up and it would be like 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning and you'd just hear like vicious vacuuming and your mum would be out there just letting you know the cleaning's happening. And sometimes I would just try and hide as long as possible because Saturday mornings were always the deep cleanse of the house. And I realised the other day as I was viciously vacuuming out front of my 18-year-old daughter's room that I have almost successfully transitioned into my mother. I live for the Saturday deep clean now. But I remember like I'd get up and my mum would be scrubbing, looking at me like she's the backbone of the house, and she was. And I do the same thing now. And I actually find myself on a Friday looking around the house going, oh, good, tomorrow's Saturday morning deep clean. And my poor daughters now live to regret that. It's the circle of life. Yeah. So we're going to do a little bit of a deep cleanse today. A Wednesday as I speak to you here from my house because there's a hard rubbish collection coming. Oh, God, the thrill. God, I'm so old. I'm officially at like double tea-towel status too. And I'm also started arguing with members of my family who don't understand how to properly clean a bench. Can we talk about bench cleaning etiquette, Emsolators? How many phases, say it out loud with me, how many phases are there to cleaning your bench? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, if you yelled out 4 phases, you're on my level. Anything less than 4, I need you to have a good look at yourself in the mirror. Let me explain the phases of the bench clean. So first of all, you need to do an initial brush off of any debris. You do an initial brush off. Do it with the palm of your hand. Do it with something. Just get all the crumbs off, okay? Then you've got to do what I call a wet scrub. So you get a wet scrub. You got to scrub anything that's stuck to the bench, wet scrub. Then phase 3 is a wet wipe. Wet wipe everything. Now, stage 4 is controversial in this house because my husband doesn't believe in it. But, oh, my God, the dry buff. You must get a very kind of robust, it's got to be terry-telling, it's got to be absorbent. It's got to have some nice crispness to it. And then you use that, you do the buff stage. Get rid of the wet scrub and the wet wipe. Do you know what I mean? So you've got the dry wipe, the wet scrub, and then the dry buff. 4 phases of bench cleaning. Anything less is unacceptable. Hallelujah. I can hear some of you have just subscribed to the Church of Em. You didn't realise our relationship was so deep and so in sync. And others are going, God, Em, what the hell? I don't care. I'm a proud 4-phase bench cleaner. There, I said it. All right. Well, today's ep sees Michael and I show you our true political nerd side. We love and obsess over the US political system. And obviously the last 4 years have been pretty traumatic for us, as I imagine it has been for most Americans. But it's pretty much the grand final, you know, for all political nerds this week because the Democratic National Convention is taking place and their opening act was Michelle Obama, and which, I don't know if you've seen the speech, but she eviscerated Donald Trump in the most polite way. So Michael and I talk about that, and we also, we talk a lot about whose husband would make a better first gentleman between Scott, my husband, and his husband, Adrian. Yeah, these are the things we think about because we do love the first gentlemen and first ladies as much as we love the candidates. Trust me, our obsession goes far and wide. My favourite, I'm reading a lot of press and a lot of celebrities coming forward, and one of my favourite humorists and writers, David Sedaris, he said that, a lot of Americans are saying that they're undecided in who they're going to vote for in the election. And he said being undecided between these two candidates is like being on a plane and being offered a plate of broken glass and shit or a plate of chicken and asking how the chicken's done. I love that comparison. Obviously, Donald Trump is the plate of, yeah, you get it. So, you're going to hear us completely nerding out over the politics and what's going on and all the speeches and who gets to speak. And don't worry, even if you're not into US politics, it's still Michael and I just talking shit and imagining things that'll never happen. So I think you'll enjoy it. And also, Kanye West came up with a genius replacement of TikTok, and I'm on board for it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get straight into Michael and I now. And, just going to get out of bed and shower because I need it. Okay, play the music.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Okay, well, I already told him I'm coming live from my bed. He's disgusted. He's judged me. Michael Lucas, hello.
I'm not. What you heard as discuss, I would argue, was respect with curiosity.
I think the comment was, is that where we're at? We're not even halfway through this lockdown. I think that's what...
That was just scientific inquiry.
No, I've been up and done everything with the baby, and now Scott's taking him out to go walking in puddles, which is his favourite pastime. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to cheekily sneak back into the warmth of my bed and do the podcast.
Oh, no, I support it. It's a classic bed day too. It's drizzly and cold and overcast.
Yeah. But normally I'm a person who gets up, because if I don't put my clothes on straight away, then I will just languish in like bed, germ, warm, catatonic. You know what I mean? So every day I have to make a point of I get up, I put a winged eyeliner now. That's my coping mechanism. I spend about 10 minutes perfecting a winged eyeliner, and then I feel like I've done something for myself. That's my self-care time.
To be fair, I have questioned your manic bushwalks in the morning more than I've questioned going back to bed. I mean, that's disturbed me on a more fundamental level.
I'm still bushwalking. I am still bushwalking, but I'm now adding winged eyeliner to the coping repertoire. But yeah, back in bed for the first time. I have to say, this is the first time I've worked from bed since this all happened. So I think we should all be in shock and in awe of that stat.
Well done. Very well done. It's more that I would worry about your posture.
Oh, yeah, nah, you're right. I do have my little posture pillow behind me. Oh, God, I'm so old.
I have reached a point of lockdown degradation because I've really got attached to this one particular hoodie. And it's just really cozy and really nice, but it takes forever to dry, and I can't bring myself to wash it because then it's like out for 4 days as it takes forever to dry. But it is now, I got pasta sauce down the sleeve, and it's just generally so rank, and I'm sitting there all hunched up in it thinking there will come a point where this is really Grey Gardens disgustingness, but at the moment I'm still clinging on to my pasta coated.
Yeah,
Mom spaghetti on the sleeve.
Oh, you're Eminem. I do have certain favourite rotation outfits for lockdown, and I do have to part with them. But I'm at a point where I can do washing rotation within 3 hours. So,
well, have you got a dryer? Do you?
Yeah, but I don't want to shrink it, so I put it in front of the open fire. But deodorant sales have plummeted. I found that very amusing. Champagne sales, because there's nothing to celebrate, and deodorant sales have plummeted. But ice cream sales have gone up. I'm so proud of you guys. Well done.
It makes perfect sense.
Are you putting on deodorant every day in lockdown?
I am, I am.
Yeah, me too. I do too. I feel like there's a certain level of, if we stop doing that, there's no difference between me and my 3 dogs, really.
I still do as much walking as I can in the hour that I've got. And I have found a couple of times that I'll come back and take off my coat and mask and think, God, this smells not right.
All right, now let's get to it. We're very excited. It's Democratic Convention Week, National Democratic Convention Week, and people may not know the depths of our love for the US political system, but it's there, it's real. And it's the main thing we tweet, we send each other messages about besides pop divas, I would say.
And I would say we're in a really similar gear when we're sending both these messages, because we take our pop diva efforts as seriously. I know it's not, for a lot of people they don't seem as high stakes, but for us, the launch of a new Beyonce album is That's pretty much the equivalent of an electoral campaign.
Well, we are in the middle of political Coachella. This is what's happening this week. I can't wait. The opening act was essentially political Beyonce. Michelle Obama was opening act for the Democratic National Conference, and she did not disappoint. I have to say, she delivered everything I expected. And the best part about her speech, Michael, the best part was that she didn't even allow Trump to be like the evil overlord that he sees himself. She just reduced him down to this incapable, inept dickhead. She did it in such a gentle voice that, do you know what I mean?
I got a vibe of like, I don't even have the energy to hate you at full ferocity. It's just you're not up to it. You're not up to it.
It's the political equivalent of, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Yeah. I really felt it. This was our favourite bit. Let's have a listen.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
Oh, genius. Slap down.
He is an inadequate fraud. And now she was throwing his own words back at him because, as we did talk about on the pod miraculously a couple of weeks ago, Jonathan Swan, son of Norman from Coronacast, interviewed Trump, and this is where that term, it is what it is, came into play for him.
1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
So, look, 18 minutes I felt was too long, Michael.
I know, you've made that very clear. I mean, essentially most people have, on all the news broadcasts, they've condensed it down to that moment when she directly starts talking about Trump. It did sort of feel like she had to do a bit of story of America stuff, climbing to the top of the mountain stuff, but to be honest, I would have been happy with just angry, exhausted Michelle Obama coming in. I know there's always a bit of a sensitivity, a horrible trope that she would want to avoid as a Black American woman about, but that is where we're at. I don't know if anyone saw the Sharon Stone Instagram story that's been going very viral where she talks about her exhaustion and her family situation. I would have been happy with that coming from Michelle Obama.
Yeah. I would have been happy with Michelle walking in, sitting down and just going, enough is fucking enough. And then just walking out. That for me would have been perfect because the 18 minutes, while it was that the bit that we've played is obviously the most powerful bit, but it just felt very, we got to go high, we got to crawl to the top of the mountain. And it's like, oh, come on, Michelle. We're past that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and it did feel like she kind of acknowledged, people say to me, you once said when they go low, we go high. Do you still believe that? And she had to sort of do the yes, I do. Blah, 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 but there was part of it was like, come on, let's just be
go low.
I also just can't believe, if I were them, the fact that, let's face it, Donald Trump entered the political arena questioning the birth of her husband in this incredibly racist attack. That is what he built his political career on. How you could compose yourself not to just go, oh, for fuck's sake, how could we possibly have voted in? Like, how could you even look your fellow Americans in the eye? And yet, she still managed to summon the going to the top of the mountain.
I know, when I saw that, I was like, don't, get off the mountain, get in the gutter. Well, Trump, of course, has responded, and he is obviously terrified of Michelle, which is good. He has obviously some kind of weird reverence of her because he doesn't go personal with Michelle. He goes personal with everyone else. Like he called Bernie Sanders crazy and Hillary Clinton crooked. He's got little monikers for everyone, but she doesn't have one from him or his camp. But have a listen to his response.
I thought her speech was very divisive. And frankly, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Barack Obama. See, we're standing in the White House. I wouldn't be in the White House except for Barack Obama because they did a bad job, Biden and Obama.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. He served his term. Like Barack did 8 years. I don't.
Well, I guess he's trying to say that. I mean, it's both those arguments are so stupid. Firstly, divisive. I mean, come on. There's never been a more divisive, deliberately divisive leader of America in the history than Donald Trump. That's ridiculous. And then secondly, wouldn't be here except for Obama. He's trying to claim that, everyone was so disillusioned with Obama's leadership that it led to this swing towards the Trump version of Republicans. But the country, no one can deny the country was they come out of the global financial crisis and they had so much growth and the country was really getting back on its feet I'm not saying America was perfect in 2016. Obviously it wasn't, but it was a hell of a lot better than it is right now.
I know. And I'm actually genuinely scared of he's shown there's nowhere he won't go. And with 8 weeks to go, he will be hitting the panic buttons, and I'm scared of what's going to come for Joe and Kamala. Do you know what I mean? Because he doesn't play fair. He's gone after the postal system. He's gone after them to try, because he's obviously scared if people can vote fairly, they will vote him out. But I wonder how, because Melania, he's not going to be able to lean very much on Melania, because as we saw, if you saw the footage of him getting off Air Force One and her swatting his hand away, we've all been there. And Melania hasn't been announced to speak during the Republican convention. So
I hope she doesn't. That'd be such a statement.
I don't think she will. I don't think she will at all, because I don't think she wants to be First Lady.
Yeah.
Just don't think so. So far, all they've announced is, the people, the two white bankers who were on front of their property, or lawyers, and they pulled guns on Black Lives Matter protesters.
Oh, my God, no, they have not got
They're
them.
speaking at the Trump. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They are the two confirmed speakers so far. I had a look, because I looked at the list for the Democrats, and it's got Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, AOC.
And they've also got Colin Powell. They've got famous Republicans to come and incredible. Yeah. But they don't have, who are they going to get? Scott Baio, I suppose, could speak at Trump's Chachi.
What's her name from Full House? Candace DJ from Full House. She's a Republican. Oh,
is she? The one that breaks my heart is Dean Cain, who was Superman in Lois.
I thought you were going to say, what's her name from Entertainment Tonight?
Oh, Mary Hart. Yeah, she breaks my heart too. I know. Yeah. Roseanne breaks my heart. That was the first heartbreak. she was such an icon of the early 90s. Oh, my God.
It's true. I do want to talk about our favourite topic, of course, besides the presidents and the people running, is the first husbands and wives.
Oh, absolutely. And today, big day, Jill Biden making her speech. And I'm actually I love Michelle, but I'm obviously familiar with what Michelle has to offer, whereas Jill, this is her time to shine. And
can't wait.
Been such a fan for so long. She's an English professor.
Yeah, Dr. Jill, who kept her full-time job during Biden's VP reign.
Love that.
And said if he does get into the Oval Office, she'll continue to lecture as an English professor. She wants to keep her identity separate. I love her. I love the fact that she took on his children when they married, because his first wife was tragically killed with his 1-year-old child in a car accident. And then Joe and her they were introduced together on a blind date, and she fell in love with him the very first night, because he didn't try and kiss her, he just shook her hand. And she went home and she texted her mother, "Mum, I've finally met a gentleman."
Oh, you've really gone deep into this. I'm so impressed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love Jill. I'm obsessed with Jill.
Oh, the early pictures of them, by the way, they were a hot couple.
Glamour.
Yeah.
She
And
was a model.
is still Joe's got a bit of an old man hair situation happening. There's a lot going on there, but Jill is still peaking at 69.
Well, yeah. Incredible. So we talk, and then I know that you love Doug, Kamala's.
I do. I just love him because I saw this tweet that said something like, when Kamala was announced, they said,
Kamala. I keep saying it wrong. There's so many different ways. Kamala.
No, it's hard, because in her speech she talked about how sometimes she gets called Marmala, and it messes around with the way that it pronounced it. But anyway, I saw a tweet that said something like, "This is the time for middle-aged Jewish husbands of vastly more impressive wives to really shine." And Doug Emhoff, she is such a superstar, and there's just something about him that I'm really tickled by, the idea of him being the first second gentleman of the United.
He's such a nerd.
Oh, that's
too.
what I absolutely love.
Out nerd. There'll be no, Michelle Obama cool power suit moments with Doug. It'll just be bum bags and really white, chunky New Balance runners. That's what I'm seeing for fashion for the first gentleman.
Oh, the other bit about Jill, the other bit that I love is when Biden won one of those primaries and the protesters stormed the stage. Do you remember that?
Yes.
She absolutely, she was better than the security guards. It was incredible. Her responses, so fast. I mean, you could just see how physically adept she was and how ferocious she was, and she would. I want her to be running for president.
We were arguing over which of our husbands would make better first gentlemen.
Well, in actual fact, I think we both agree. but I really can make the case for Scott.
Adrian would be a way better first gentleman.
No. Firstly, okay,
Like,
let's
Adrian
just acknowledge
would care.
Adrian would blitz it. It would be perfect. We were a bit obsessed with Pete Buttigieg and Chasten.
Yes, of course.
There's just so many elements about Adrian that would really work. Like, firstly, the whole entertaining, decorating, what Adrian would do with the Christmas decorations on the White House.
Yeah.
Outstanding. And also just hosting the dinners. All of that is totally in his wheelhouse.
Oh, gosh. All these things are not Scott's strengths.
The only thing there would be a massive scandal with Adrian in terms of suit budgets. Like, at a certain point it would come out, what the fuck is he spending on his outfits? And he would just be like, yeah, I'm the first gentleman. What the hell?
He would just need to take your clothing budget because you would wear the same suit over and over. Adrian would just have to take
You would intervene, though. You wouldn't. If I was the president of the United States or the prime minister, you'd be all over it.
Oh, 100%. 1,000,000%. You wouldn't be allowed to wear, you dress like Jerry Seinfeld, basically. So that would have to go out the window.
And Adrian would also do all these he would set up all these cultural arts festivals and things like that. That would be his thing. Like Michelle Obama planted the vegetable garden. He wouldn't be interested in that. But he'd be totally going out and doing, we'd be getting all sorts of online film festivals curated by him. And it'd be incredible. But I also think Scott would do really well.
Make your case.
I just think speeches, Melania launched the Be Best campaign to stop bullying, and it was absolutely ridiculous. But I could imagine Scott doing a similar thing and doing it really well, like going down being the personal coach for a nation. And I also think he could rock the suit, but I also think he would go into health, mental and physical health kind of situations. And basically, as long as you set him up with an exercise bike in a corner of the West Wing somewhere, that he could just do that for 6 hours a day, then I reckon he'd be at your disposal for the rest of the time. And I reckon he'd be a powerful advocate. I really do.
As long as people are okay with the first husband, attending things in board shorts and Birkenstocks, sure. I think sure.
You might have to intervene there. That's where Adrian would really come to the fore.
He won't. I had to accept a long time ago. My husband owns 2 hoodies that he rotates, and when they're both in the wash, he's at 6s and 7s. There's just no. I've given up trying to direct his fashion past a 1990s skater boy. That's where his fashion kind of peaked, and that's how he dresses.
But what would be unbelievably epic would be the first gentleman going for a surf. Imagine, never been seen before. I wish in Australia, no, it's probably a good thing, but we don't really focus on the spouses that much. And sometimes it really, for example, Catherine Andrews, Dan Andrews' wife, I feel like she's got a very low profile. She basically looks like Nina from Offspring. That's who she looks like. And
well, what about Chloe Shorten? She's a prime candidate.
No, well,
I kept saying to Bill, she's better than you, mate. This is who we need to be focusing on. Chloe.
Jenny Morrison's out there a little bit, but Jen. No.
Yeah. No.
I prefer a Lucy I love a Lucy Turnbull style, where you get the sense she's the real brains behind this operation. And I do get a lot of that from Jill.
Yes. Michael used to write erotic fan fiction about Lucy and Mel Turnbull.
You always roll this out. It's like in all the time I have with all of this erotic fiction I'm writing, I will admit I'm very intrigued. I'm riveted by their relationship, Lucy.
And Jay Bish. You used to write erotic fan fiction about
Jay
Bish.
You were 100% in on that. We would write entire bouts of dialogue between Jay Bish and her hot man whose name I've completely forgotten.
Remember we used to text each other pages of their imagined conversations?
Yeah. I hope Jenny Bishop knows how much she looms in our imaginations. But you have met her a couple of times and more than a couple of times and she has lived up to expectations, which is terrifying.
Bish is someone I really like as a person. We know each other pretty well now. Like, she'll say hi, Em, when she sees me, which is an honour. I really hate her politics and I don't agree with most of the things that she stood for. But as a person, I'm able to separate her from that. She's so impressive. She is so fit and so shiny and so charismatic and fashion forward and severe and powerful that as another woman, I just can't help but be in her awe. Like, she's just got this thing about her. But yeah, horrible politics. I can't agree with any of the politics. Before we move on to Kanye West's brilliant idea, and yes, that's a sentence I said, I do want to briefly touch on Cardi B and Joey B's interview.
I love that Cardi B occupies this place in the culture now where a presidential candidate needs to go and have his time with Cardi B or her time.
I get it, because she represents young, culturally diverse people that don't vote because they don't see the point. So she represents, oddly enough, the people Biden need to collect, the disillusioned, the people who don't bother, the marginalised. So Cardi B may be the linchpin. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Well, indeed. One thing I didn't realise from, until I listened to this amazing conversation on YouTube was that if people in Cardi B's age band voted at the same rate as older people, then, it would have been an absolute storming victory to the Democrats last time. So they really need to spark up engagement. And I guess she is number one all around the world right now.
And your favourite bit and my favourite bit was when Joe congratulated her and we were just both hoping against hope that we would hear him say wet ass pussy.
Oh, I know. And he brought his daughter on to say she's a huge fan, and I just wanted to hear the next president of the United States say the words wet ass pussy. And it never happened.
It never happened. But he did congratulate her, which was nice. Before I let you go, I do want to talk about Jesus Tok.
So that's just terrifying. Anyway. I just feel like, are we sure about this? I can just see the conversation in times come where it's like, where do you reckon Em Rossiano jumped the shark? Do you reckon it was when she embraced Jesus Tok?
No, Jesus Tok is a great idea.
Okay.
Okay,
Go.
because
make your case.
Well, obviously I have a 13-year-old daughter and she's obsessed with TikTok. Like, so much time is spent on TikTok with those swishy, swirly dance moves and making rainbow bread or cream. Like, if there's a food thing going on, and all the food things are disgusting and weird and impractical. And so she comes to the kitchen, she's like, do we have corn flour, vinegar? She'll ask for all these weird ingredients. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's a TikTok recipe. Like, this is just taking over my life. And there's things on there. Like, I sent you a video of a girl on TikTok last night making a swishy glamour video to when she got to heaven. God asked her why she was there, and she said because she died in the Holocaust. And this is like a 16-year-old girl who recorded this yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's
terrifying.
Not good. It's not good.
And so hard to keep track of. So hard. Because I do feel like even with other social media things, it's easy to search for particular things and find, but TikTok is just sort of like a jungle. And also, haven't there been things like you're all across your daughter's official accounts, but then you never know if a little side one's popped up.
Oh no, Chella found at least 5 side TikTok accounts.
Wow. And
we also found out that kids, and you ask your kids, if you've got a tween, ask them about how many Instagram accounts they actually have. Like some of Odie's friends have up to 5 Instagram accounts. How do they monitor? How do they keep up with the content production? I have one, and I find it exhausting. How do these girls make enough content?
You literally cannot get out of bed, and it's because of one Instagram account.
How do these girls find enough content to be able to maintain 5 accounts? There's only
I'm going to say because the content bar's pretty low.
Oh,
and I would say on TikTok, obviously TikTok, because every once in a while something goes viral and it genuinely is really funny, really smart, really well performed and everything. So you go on TikTok expecting it to be like that, and it's really not. Most of it really is just like a weird vomitous sea of questionable content.
Yeah, but let me tell you about Kanye's tweet, right? So Kanye was obviously, North is obsessed with TikTok, and Kim said we make lots of TikToks, but they're all saved in the drafts folder. So obviously Russian hackers are working overtime to get access to that drafts. That's the first thing I thought. Oh, Kim, what have you done? So North is obsessed, right? And Kanye was having some daddy-daughter time. And then he tweeted, "A vision just came to me." Okay, that's a little concerning that he said it was a vision. I'll accept that that's a concerning sentence starter, a vision. Jesus Tok. Yes, Kanye. I was watching TikTok with my daughter, and as a Christian father, I was disturbed by a lot of the content. Me too. But I completely
You're not a Christian mother.
I'm a Christian father, but I completely loved the technology. We pray we can collaborate with TikTok to make a Christian monitored version. I don't know. Does that mean Jesus himself would? That feels safe for young children and the world in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen, Kanye West. I'm on board for Jesus Tok. I am on board for Jesus Tok because I can't keep track of all the secret accounts. I can't be bothered with all the sexual dances that are going on. I mean, look, I'm not angry at all the wet ass pussy recreates. They've been quite amusing.
Oh, no, I'm sure if we went on a deep dive of people referencing that song on TikTok, we would be horrified. We might even reconsider our position on the song, which, by the way, it is an excellent workout song and just a cleaning the house song, except my problem with that song at the moment is if you're listening to it, there is no way you can get through that song without chanting at the top of your lungs, "I want you to park that Big Mac truck into this little garage." And I constantly say it without realising I'm doing it. Luckily, when it's in public, I'm wearing a mask, so no one knows for sure. Anyway, but yes, that would be horrifying on TikTok.
It is. But the idea that there could be a child-friendly Jesus Tok, and it's not the Chinese government stealing your personal information, which is the whole problem with TikTok, apparently.
What you're basically saying is you want like a sort of a surveyed and censored version of I don't think you want Jesus content in there, do you? What's Jesus? She's open. She's open to it.
What's Jesus throwing up? Is Jesus doing some
a lot
cool,
of homophobia
outfit
in my experience at times. Actually, no, not true Jesus, just the interpretation of Jesus.
Yeah, I feel like if Jesus is going to do some cute outfit reveals, I'm not mad about it, Jesus
is presenting an all-new pale tunic with his sandals.
I don't know. I read Kanye's TikTok and I felt a kinship with a parent concerned about what their child is doing on an app that scares you. Do you know what I mean? Like I've moved into that far enough away generationally of my kids that I'm scared of something they're using, but I don't care to understand it. Do you know when you get to that point where you're like, normally I would bother to learn it. Like I learned Instagram, I learned Facebook. But TikTok for me is too hard.
It is. It's that bridge too far.
It's too hard. And I said to Odie, how do you know what you're looking for? She goes, you search the hashtags. I'm like, oh, God, it's exhausting. And all the swishy moves where they don't quite commit to finishing a hand flourish. It gives me the shits. Like,
that's what gets me. It's the sort of the rough kind of like putting something out there that hasn't been executed.
No, but they do it like it's like the opposite of everything that drives me as a performer. Enthusiasm, effort, strong lines, fingertips pointed. The show must go on. It's all these like perfectly coiffed 13, 14-year-old girls just like kittens hitting balls of string. Like me. This is my verbal interpretation of a fucking TikTok dance. Do you know what I mean? Like that is, you can like quote me on that. That is my verbal representation. Their brain isn't even in their body. And I'm like, bitch, if you're going to do Corrie, commit.
We grew up glued to video hits, not TikTok, and they had spent friggin' $5 million on each one of those clips we looked at, and everything still stands up today.
Correct.
You go back. Janet Jackson never missed a move.
No, everyone's doing everything half-off with one cheek on TikTok. You look at a Janet Jackson, a Paula Abdul, and Madonna, both cheeks are often there on screen. It just makes me mad when I watch all these girls like throw their hands up. Oh, come on, mate. I know it took you 8 hours to learn that Corrie, so why don't you finish off that line in your arm and point your toe?
Yeah, I don't know that you need Jesus Tok so much as you need effort talk. Like TikTok for conscientious or nerd talk.
Oh, yes. Let's not reward people being mediocre. That's what TikTok is. There's a few people that rise to the top, but then the majority of it is just mediocre half efforts that people reward.
We already have Big Brother for that. We don't need an entire platform.
I've never sounded older. We've just lost all our Generation Z fans right there.
Yeah, Jesus Tok. And that is why Kanye West has your endorsement in the 2020 election.
Can't be any worse, can it? Really? I mean, why don't we go for a Cardi Kanye ticket? Come on. I mean, could it be any...
No, he's too right for Cardi. Cardi is she is like virtually a socialist.
I know, but I feel like Kanye could be flip-floppy, wishy-washy.
Oh, he is. Absolutely, absolutely. He just wants whatever's got the best merch.
If she could come up with a great red hat, I think he'd wear it. It'll be fine. All right. Well, goodness. Good. I'm glad we ended on me assaulting every single person that's ever done a dance on TikTok.
Which includes yourself. Let's just put that out there.
Oh, my dance moves were precise. All right. And on that note... I've got a lot to prep for. They're only giving AOC a minute talk time at the convention, so I'm going to have to get ready for that.
A minute? Oh.
Yeah. So we're going to, obviously, Michael and I, it is, like I said,
might actually work in our
culture.
favour because it might
100%.
make it incredibly shareable.
I think it's dumb Bill Clinton's getting more time than her, but anyway.
Be good for TikTok as well.
All right, thanks. I'm so excited. I don't know how popular this edition will be, but we did allow ourselves to talk about our true passion.
We will go back to pop divas before you know it.
100p. Don't even worry. There'll be plenty of jizz chat next week. All right, thanks.
Bye.
This is Emsolation.
That's it. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed things. I'm sorry if I upset any Gen Zers who are big into TikTok. Listening back to my verbal impersonation of TikTok dance might have taken things too far. Hey, tomorrow, Friday, a very special bonus epic is coming out. I interviewed Rob Mills, my dear pal Rob Mills. He's had a pretty tough year so far psychologically, and I wanted to talk to him about that, and I wanted you to hear the truths he's discovered within himself and within life, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. That's coming out tomorrow. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day, whatever you're doing, and we'll chat soon. Bye.